Yes, guys, we're back, and you know what I'm going to talk about? Come on, you know. Well, let's put it this way. When I saw the news, I didn't rush here. I ran! I ran. Anyway, this is Nabil Knows. So, Israel has finally found out what it's like to fight a country that can actually afford an army and a bunch of missiles. Surprise, surprise, motherfucker. Now, already the news, which has been proven to spend 33 times more coverage on Israeli deaths, is already trying to play this as somehow Israel is the victim. How? I do not know. Israel struck first. Israel has struck all its neighbors at this point. You know, they're like annoying neighbor that borrows sugar, except what they're doing is putting flaming shit in your back garden. And then when something happens, they're like, oh my God, why? It's an interesting thing. Look at the response from Israel when certain bombs have landed. Look how terrified they are. Now magnify that by 1,000. That's what it's like to be Palestinian. What's amazing to me is that even in the onset of war, Israel still finds a way to be spiteful towards Palestinians by strategically trying to blow up certain bombs above Arab territories so that the shrapnel and whatnot falls on Palestinians. How spiteful can you be? That's like saying, look, I hate my dad. I have my dad's nose. So while I'm being beaten up, I'm going to move my nose into every single punch that the guy who's beating me up is throwing. So at least I can get rid of this nose. That is terrible. Iran is they're not exactly a saint, but I'm starting to see a lot of parallels. It's very similar to what we saw recently with India and Pakistan, where the big bully gets ahead of themselves and picks on someone that can actually fight back. Then all of a sudden they're like, oh wait, oh my God. Oh, it's like the old Frank Bruno boxing matches where he would fight a guy that went to round 3, like, hey, Barry, he was meant to go down in the second. That's exactly what's happening here. People are saying it's going to be World War III. It's not going to be no World War III. I hope not. Because, look, around the world, there are certain countries that America has not invaded, right? Very few countries. There is a reason why America has not yet invaded Iran. They said, oh, Iraq, weapons of mass destruction. Iran, maybe we have it, maybe we don't. Why don't you come check, big boy? That's Iran. North Korea, Russia. There's certain countries everybody knows better than to fuck with. And Israel, in all this time, I guess when you've bombed Lebanon with impunity, you've done stuff to Yemen with impunity. And the thing is, Iran has actually been quite well behaved. A lot like Pakistan, Iran has suffered assassinations, espionage, and all sorts at the hands of Israel and other Western, because let's just call Israel Western, security forces. And this whole time, there was one time where one of their generals was assassinated in a plane, and they got their get back quietly on some American generals in a plane. But they hinted at, listen, we might have some technology that you've not seen before. It was a general saying this in an interview. He hinted that, listen, you're not the only ones with tech, and nobody listened. And like we know in Africa and the Caribbean, those who don't hear will feel, right? It turns out this whole time, Iran has been preparing for situations just like this. Israel, while they've suffered less casualties than Iran, has taken a huge blow. That era of invincibility is gone. Because the reality is, David's sling, Iron Dome, and all the other defenses they have, it's not some electromagnetic field. It's missiles. They fire at missiles to detonate them midair. But they only have a certain number of them. And most of them are designed to stop missiles coming in from Gaza. Hypersonic missiles coming in from Iran, they do not really have the capacity. We don't have the capacity.
We don't have the capacity.
They do not have the capacity to stop all the missiles that Iran can throw. And Iran has so many missiles that it's being said that they're just using their old stuff for now, just to exhaust Israel's defense before they throw the big stuff. That is terrifying. Well, if you're Israeli. Israel has the Samson Option, which is basically talking about the biblical Samson, who was kidnapped by the ops after they shaved his head because he wanted to die for Nyash. He trusted this lady who cut his hair was the source of his power, and he prays to God saying, oh please, just give me one last bit of strength to kill these pussios. And God did, so he pushed the pillars and everything came tumbling down and killed everybody. The Samson Option, basically, as far as I'm aware, is a bunch of nuclear missiles pointed at everyone. So if they go down, everyone goes down. Now, if this was an Arab country that had an option like this, we would be calling them terrorist nation, a crazy nation, an evil nation, a threat to the world. But because it's Israel, everyone is ignoring the fact that they're literally emotionally blackmailing countries like, okay, if you don't help us, we're going to nuke you. But the reality is this. If we do help them, Iran's going to nuke everyone. Keir Starmer is now talking about sending jets and stuff to protect Israel. Protect them from who? Themselves? But the biggest irony about all of this is this. Where are those military bases that Iran has been targeting? In Tel Aviv, underneath hospitals, in densely populated areas. I'm sorry, but the knee is full of iron. Are these not the same people that accuse Palestinians of using civilians as human shields? Look what they're doing. Israel is the most ironic nation in the world. You're a nation founded because you wanted to protect people from ethnic cleansing and and genocide. You then participate in ethnic cleansing and genocide. You've participated in sterilizing people. You've created an ethno-state. You have put Palestinians into a concentration camp. And now, come on, man. Like, this has to be a joke. This has to be a joke. And the biggest joke of all, Benjamin Netanyahu wasn't so big and bad when Iran responded. This guy fled. And the tragedy, he had to cancel his son's wedding. Fam, think about that. Iran isn't the one threatening everybody. They're saying, if you get involved, we'll attack you too. And your military bases. Not your civilians, not your hospitals, your military bases. Whereas Israel is saying straight up, yeah, if you don't help us attack these people who we started war with for no real reason, then we're going to bomb you too. How does no one see what the actual problem is? That's insane. It's absolutely insane. It's interesting how many countries are celebrating Israel being hit by. It reminds me of when I was a kid. There was a boy in our class called Abdul, right? This is when I was in school in Nigeria. There was this American kid who was like a foot taller than everybody. Interesting that he was American now that you think about it. And he would pick on everyone, and everyone was scared of him because he was so big. And my brother said, listen, he's a bully. He doesn't want to fight. He just wants to pick on people. So the next time he starts on you, just swing. It doesn't matter where you catch him, but you need to hit him as hard as you can. So I did. He walked up to me. He was talking all kinds of trash, thought he could bully me, and I swung the biggest overhand right I've ever thrown in my life. And it collected clean on his chin. He didn't even go down. He just did a little bit of a funny dance, and then he walked away. I thought for sure he was going to beat me up, but he didn't. And on that day, I learned a valuable lesson. Bullies don't want fights. They just want victims. Since Iran has bombed back, look how quiet they've gotten. Obviously, they're like, oh, guys, help me. Guys, no, it's one country you're attacking. Only one country fighting back. Go on then. You wanted war. Another thing I need to point out is Israel bragged about how accurate and surgical the missile strike was on an apartment where a high priority target was stationed, apparently. Now, isn't it mad how they can target people precisely in Syria and Iran, but when it comes to Gaza, they have to kill hundreds of civilians at the same time? Interesting, isn't it? And once again, Israel has military bases under its hospitals and in densely populated areas like Tel Aviv. Where's that Spider-Man meme where Spider-Man's pointing at Spider-Man? There you go, Sharmuta. There you go, Ben Sona. You are a hypocrite. Everything about Israel contradicts itself. Even the concept of Zionists, right? A Zionist is a white atheist that believes he has right to somebody else's land in the Middle East because God said so. Cue that Seinfeld song. Keir Starmer has made some new proclamations about the army, telling us to get ready. Pussy, you get ready. Why aren't you training? You go fight. Say what you want about Russia, but you know that if it came down to it, Putin would pick up an AK and do some shooting. He's done it before. Well, like you got Keir Starmer telling us to prepare for war, just like Rishi Sunak was telling us to prepare for war. And really, all he's doing is putting contracts in the hands of arms dealers. Even now, when we know there's so many budget cuts affecting schools, affecting hospitals, affecting public transport, cost of living crisis, this guy is making arms dealers richer. Haven't these people made enough money? Haven't arms dealers are making a killing? Except, well, whoever the arms dealers were that were trying to send some weapons into Burkina Faso, because the Burkinabe stopped that shit. Traore is the gift that just keeps on giving. About 2 or 3 trailers worth of weapons were stopped trying to insurgents in the Sahel. So these are probably people that would have caused all kinds of terror in Mali, Chad, and of course Burkina Faso. But because these 3 countries are now cooperating with each other, they're better able to stop these things. And guess what? One of the drivers was a non-melanated person from Europe. Wow! It's almost as if Europeans are trying to cause trouble everywhere. This is amazing. What's also beautiful is this. With what's happening between Iran and Israel, Western forces are going to be stretched thin. So now is Burkina Faso's chance. In fact, all I'm hoping now is that Tinubu somehow sees sense, or somebody in Nigeria decides to mash the work. And then we can have an even stronger, more united West Africa. This is a lot like World War II. When the colonizers were fighting and having the intertribal warfare between white people, Africans were able to get their independence. Hopefully, if this happens now, I mean, hopefully it doesn't spill over here, because shit, I don't have a bomb shelter. I don't have that kind of money yet. But once that Netflix special comes in, woo! Forget building a big house. I'm just going to have a reinforced basement full of corned beef and sardines. Fuck you guys. And all you vegans, watch. When these bombs hit and we have to hunt for our food and you run out of your tracker bars, I'm going to raid your house. You're not going to be strong enough to stop me. Oh no, Nabil, don't take my legumes. I just throw words in there like that to captivate some of my right-wing audience so they know that I'm a man of the people. Don't blame me. It's my current carnivore diet. It's making me more aggressive. So yeah, the world is a real mess right now. The Western imperialism and its proxies are encountering all kinds of problems because when you control people with force and violence and fear, it can only last for so long. Oh, I forgot to mention, the weapons that were seized by these forces in the Sahel, so I think Burkinabe forces, were of course all American issue weapons. Surprise, surprise. Cue that music from the office. Do, 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 do. Hey guys, once again, thanks for being here. Like I said before, we're very close to 100,000. Very, very close. Let's grow the movement. Let's grow the family. Like this video, share, subscribe, get your friends, your auntie, your uncle, even your enemies to do so too. Let's get to 100,000. Also, my comedy special, shot last year, has been released on YouTube, The Purple Pill. If you are sick, this is the medicine. So once you're done with this video, scroll down, click. I promise you, you will not regret. Comedy classic. Not just because I say so, it really is. Watch it, you'll see. All right, over to that. So you see what's happening in America, LA, and them places there. ICE is just out here deporting people who will probably be back in 2 weeks anyway. But it's mad how like a lot of the Latin American community are like crying to black people like, oh, why aren't you helping us? It's like, but aren't you the same people that voted for Trump? Was it not? The majority of Cubans and Mexicans, they even had like some bachata song. I will vote, pim pim piririm. I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. The people go out to vote, no fear. You know, the same people are like, oh, I know black, I Spanish, man. I know black, I Spanish. Okay, this is the problem. You see, when it comes to like white supremacy, when it comes to like all these kind of things, it's almost like a drug. I swear it's like a drug. Candace Owens thought she was white for a whole 10 years. That shit is powerful. They say cocaine is a hell of a drug. I'm telling you, cocaine is just a powdered version of white supremacy. It gets these people so high that by the time they have their nigga wake up call, it's too late. And it happens to a lot of people. Kemi Badenoch, I can't wait for you to get sober from this current white power trip you're on. Yeah, because that's what it is. These people forget themselves. It'll have you doing all sorts of stuff. And then when you wake up and the aftertaste is in your mouth, there's nothing you can do. And that's what's happening, unfortunately, to many Latin Americans right now. For years, these people weaponized republicanism against black people. They talked about DEI and all this stuff, only to find out that all those things actually helped them. And the thing is, Donald Trump is not going to reverse anything that's happening right now because he has enough problems to deal with because his shithead cousin Israel has gone and caused him problems. Do you see the interview when they asked Donald Trump what he thought about what happened? That is the most somber I've ever seen Donald Trump. I mean, afterwards, we did see him do his little military. I'm sorry, I can't unsee that. Donald Trump just grinding on a tank like he's at Carnival. The fuck was that? And it doesn't even make any sense. Donald Trump doing anything for the American military is the equivalent of Boris Johnson hosting a Black History Month event. Like, no connection, just vibes. Like, bro, you dodged the draft like you had some Vietnamese baby moms or something. Like, what the hell? How are you bigging up the military? You are the biggest, most famous draft dodger. Benjamin Netanyahu, they all know what they're doing. I think, because you know right now there's loads of protests going on in Israel against the government. The military is imploding. There's all this stuff happening that the media does not show. And like we've seen in the past, when these incompetent rulers are unable to solve problems, they create war. He's created war. He wants Israel to ignore all the things going wrong in his government, and these things are aplenty, as we know, and they've been going on for a long time. And so what Benjamin Michalowski does, not Netanyahu, that's not his real name, creates these things, these conflicts, so that the nation is galvanized and some of them unite for the cause of war. And then if you're against him, it's you're not patriotic. You don't care about the country because you don't want to engage in war. It's no different from what Narendra Modi did with Pakistan. There's problems in India, but he distracts by putting his country people's lives at risk because he knows he's not likely to die. He's already escaped. He knew to escape to Greece or wherever it was he went to when he started this conflict, and this is what these rulers do. To be honest, the only ruler that doesn't really do that is Donald Trump. His method is to flood the zone with bullshit. So he'll just say something about Barney and Mickey Mouse, or he'll say some weird stuff and distract the media that way. But he doesn't actually put his people's lives at risk. It's weird. Donald Trump probably deep down does care for some Americans. I don't think Michalowski, I don't think this Polish man who is ruling Palestine through Israel, I don't think that this guy genuinely cares about the land because he's putting his own people at risk. But as people have to understand, if this goes into a full-blown war, Iran is one of those countries that's almost impossible to invade. It's a huge country. They have a lot of technology. And then they have proxies surrounding Israel. All Iran has to do is just fire thousands upon thousands of missiles, which they have. They have whole silos the size of cities with missiles and all kinds of missiles. All they have to do is flood Israel with missiles until all their defenses go down. Then people in Gaza, Syria, Yemen, all they have to do is follow up. And eventually the bombardment will be too much. His only hope is that England and America intervene before that. But then again, it's not going to make less lives lost in Israel. But he would rather do that than face criticism from his own people. Is that not madness? Think that is absolute insanity. We are ruled by vampires who live off of human blood. It's disgusting. I mean, that just shows you how Canada is such a tame country. Like, over here, we've got, like, rent boys trying to set our prime minister's properties on fire. We've got Illuminati pedophile scandals. We've got child trafficking murders to cover up truth about the war. America has flipping lists upon lists. There's the P. Diddy list. There's the Epstein. There's all this stuff. And Canada has politicians being caught at... being caught at concerts, Drake getting upset. I thought we were friends. Like, just when Drake can't look any more moist, he does. He called Jagmeet Singh a goof for going to watch SZA and Kendrick. First of all, how can you not want to watch SZA? I mean, shit. And Kendrick, come on now. Plus, there is the fact that's been scientifically proven that Drake is shit. Drake's... This is the big, it's like the loss. It's almost like Drake, you know, you ever watch a boxing match where someone gets knocked out and they get up and then fall down again by themselves? Drake just keeps on embarrassing himself. You know, but it's just so cute that this is the scandal in Canada. Oh my God, I can't believe you went to that concert. Hey, what's that about? What's next? Like a maple syrup cartel? Like, what kind of... It's just adorable. Honestly, that South Park did tell the truth about Canada. I'm not your buddy, pal. I'm not your pal, friend.
I'm not your buddy, friend. He's not your friend, guy. I'm not your guy, buddy. He's not your buddy, friend. I'm not your friend, guy.
Vance Bolter has been charged with murdering political couple, Democrats, in their home in cold blood, and then also shooting a second couple. Now, of course, goes without saying, he listened to Alex Jones. So he was into InfoWars, probably raided their fridges afterwards, check if they had any adrenochrome. Now here's the thing, this doesn't reflect all right-wingers or whatever, but is a recurring problem now we're seeing. And you didn't have to tell me that he was super right-wing. The fact that he knew how to use a gun pretty much said it, because, you know, compare that to the guy who apparently missed Donald Trump with a sniper rifle but hit his ear. Anyway, let's not even go into that. It's crazy. If this guy spoke a word of Farsi right now, all Iranians would be in trouble. If this guy was a South American, if this guy was a Mexican, a Central American, all of that community would be in problems. But because it was a white guy who listened to, you know, white supremacist adjacent alt-right media, it's all okay. It's absolutely fine. We're not going to blame anybody. It's just one of those things. He was a lone wolf, mental health problems, and acid reflux. And he probably just had too much carbohydrates in the morning, and it drove him mad. It's never going to be his fault. Now, the sad thing is this, right? If that had been a bunch of Republican politicians, he wouldn't have gotten close enough to shoot them, or they'd have shot him back. But that's the problem. Left-leaning politics, most of the time, you'll find that people who are on the left side of things tend not to take security threats very seriously. It's just a discussion I've had with people, and it's nuts because when the people who don't like you are people who like guns and the army, you should probably do your best to prepare yourself for the likelihood of them attacking you. This is not victim blaming. I'm just saying, if you're in America right now and you're somebody, even if you don't like guns, you should own one. If you live in the UK, even if you're not a violent person, you should know how to use it, because the people that don't like you, they know how to use it. And things are only going to get worse because, you know, we've been seeing now execution style killings all over. Thanks to things like the internet, AI, certain films, more and more untrained civilians have access to weapons and a basic understanding of tactics that would have been alien to them about 10, 15 years ago. So if you're openly very critical about certain things, if you're on the political spectrum and you're outspoken with your views, and you live in America, you should stay strapped. If you live in the UK, at least know how to use your fists or something, because the time is coming. Like, there's war everywhere, okay? We have a saying, if somebody explains Nigeria to you and you understand, it means you weren't paying attention. Here is an example. Now, this is extreme, but we would get like agege bread, which is the only gay we accept in Nigeria. And See, we're inclusive. It's gay twice. Agege bread is a very soft brand of bread that you get from Nigerian bakeries. And what we would do in the summers, we would dip it into cold Fanta and eat. I thought it was just a me thing, well, not a me thing, me and my friends and people I knew thing in Kaduna growing up. But this guy has taken that and gone further. I mean, I can guarantee you that if you like jam on bread, that is next level. It's probably not good for your liver or kidney. I think Nigeria is now #1 for kidney failure. But that right there, I can guarantee you is delicious. Would I do that myself personally? No, I'm trying to get healthy now. You know, it's just something about Nigeria in general, whether it's food, whether it's music. There's just something about Nigeria and creativity. We can't just do anything normally. We need to find a way to make things even crazier than they are. So no, why dip the bread into the Fanta when you can dip the Fanta into the bread? I think this guy deserves an award. This encapsulates the Nigerian spirit, especially the northern Nigerian spirit. Ranka Dede, which means long live you. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. As always, it's been a pleasure to be with you here today. Thank you so much for all the love you've been showing. The other videos are up. And for those of you who do not know, my special, The Purple Pill, is currently up right now on YouTube, on this channel. So check it out. I'm very proud of it. It was a labor of love. Share it with your friends. You know, if you're a comedy connoisseur, if you like watching specials on Netflix, watch this. Send it to people. Let's make this a classic. It is a classic. Just give it time. In a few years, it'll be up there. I promise you. I'm not saying that because it's me. Watch it for yourself if you like comedy, and you tell me what you think. Yeah. Anyway, until then, stay safe and protect yourself at all times.